I don't want to be the person who's like snarking about somebody who's clearly having a meltdown. It's not sympathetic. It's not empathetic. Like, it's just not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So,
Even though that would make the clips go crazier and stuff.
yeah,
I
I
feel
mean,
like a lot of other people do that now, right?
100%.
You
So
could tell
there
they're
have
just
been
kind of looking for clips.
there have been situations like this in the past that never make the camera. So I'd say it must have been 5-6 years ago. I did a speech at University of British Columbia up in Vancouver, and there was a trans person who got up and started making the argument, and the person started talking about it was a male to female about his personal experiences, and I said, listen, I really don't want to talk about that because I'm inevitably going to have to critique your personal experiences, and I don't think that that's good. And he insisted on doing this. Like, he just insisted on going back to it, saying, my parents say that I'm female. And eventually, after a few minutes, I said, look, I really didn't want to do this. You brought up, you wouldn't stop talking about it. The reason your parents are saying that is because they're sympathetic to you as a person. They don't actually believe you're female. They believe that you're a male, but they're trying to be nice to you. And this person broke down in tears and literally broke down in tears and went away crying. And, obviously that's a clip that goes super viral. You've never seen that clip. Why did you never see that clip? Because I went to the camera people at the event and the organizers of the event. I told them to cut it from the tape because it was bad for the mental health of the person. And then I called up the person, somebody who knew that person. We knew, one of the organizers knew who it was. And I said, I want you to check in on that person tonight and then invite them to breakfast with me tomorrow morning so I can make sure they're okay.
Did they come?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Man,
absolutely.
How'd the breakfast go?
Yeah.
That's fine.
What'd
I
you
mean,
guys
I said, listen, I cut that from the tape. I want to make sure you're okay. Like, I don't have to agree with your assessment of yourself. I don't have to agree with what you believe about yourself, but you're a human being. I want to make sure you're okay.
And how was their reaction?
I think they appreciated it.
Wow.
I think he appreciated
How
it.
long ago was that?
5-6 years ago, maybe.
What is, in your opinion, what's the whole answer to this? I think you think it's we all kind of think it's some sort of mental illness or something, but
there's no answer to. So there's two questions. One is for people who legitimately have gender dysphoria, which is a minute percentage of the population. Unfortunately, there's no amazing answer to it. That's a real condition.
Minute percentage of transgender people? Or?
Yes, I think a huge percentage of transgender people are now part of a social contagion. That's why you've seen this radical increase in identification.
A large percentage of transgenders don't have gender dysphoria.
Yes, I think a lot of people who are transgender will say they don't have gender dysphoria.
Right.
Especially as the current modern definition of gender dysphoria goes, which says including depression, which again is a very weird way to define a mental disorder. If I think I'm Napoleon, I walk around all day thinking I'm Napoleon. I'm actually pretty happy about being Napoleon. Apparently, according to the DSM-5, I don't have a mental disorder. That's a very weird way of describing a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
See, to me, I think that if you walk around saying you're Napoleon all day and believing that, whether you're enjoying being Napoleon or not, something's wrong, right? But you cannot say that if there is a condition known as gender dysphoria, and that condition has been present throughout time, which it has. There's been a vanishingly small percentage of human beings across all of human history who have had problems believing that they feel more like a member of the opposite sex. But that number was really, really, really low. And now you have, 5, 10, 15, 20% of given populations who are saying that they're gender dysphoric. That's called the social contagion. And especially when you see a complete flip in the sex to which it applies. So it used to apply mostly to young men who believed they were women, like teenagers. And then there was a complete flip, and now it's a bunch of young girls who think they're boys. And so that's happened over the course of the last 5-10 years. You're seeing 100x increase in trans identification in areas of the West. That doesn't wash. That doesn't wash. You've never seen anything like that. What condition, other than sort of an actual viral contagion, what mental health condition have you seen that has increased so starkly without any sort of social contagion being a part of it? It doesn't work that way.
Is there any data on why it continues to grow at that speed?
I think that there is. So Abigail Schreier wrote a great book called Irreversible Damage about this, which was then banned from Amazon. Abigail has gone into a lot of research on this sort of stuff, and her basic premise is that when you propagandize to a bunch of 12, 13-year-old girls who are going through puberty and who are feeling uncomfortable in their own bodies and who are feeling, like so girls are, I have 3 younger sisters, I have a wife, I have 2 daughters, girls get uncomfortable. Puberty is not a comfortable time for girls. And so when they start going through that, and they feel awkward and chubby and they feel their hormones are starting to go a little bit crazy and they feel uncomfortable. And then they're told, the reason you feel all that is not because this is sort of the natural way that you grow into physical maturity. The reason you're feeling that is probably because you might be a boy. And then what happens, you go to a gender clinic, and without pretty much any sort of screening procedure, they shoot you up with testosterone. What testosterone does, it makes you more aggressive and it makes you more confident. And so girls will do that, and they'll feel more aggressive and more confident temporarily. They'll think, oh, it's true, I am a boy, right? Because I feel better now. I feel better having the shots of testosterone. That's a hormonal thing. You know, that's not because you actually were a boy. At no point were you a boy.